It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top, we're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome to another edition of RaceSpot TV Friday Night Prime Time here from Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for Week 11 of the iRacing Skip Barber Series. All coverage today is on RaceSpot TV, streaming live to the iRacing Esports Network. Tyler Maxson in the commentary booth, Ryan Walker alongside me, with Hugo Luis behind the scenes in production. Ryan, it's a very tricky racetrack this one is. Barcelona, not the easiest track, especially with how high speed it will be in these Skip Barber cars.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most challenging but fun tracks, and the amount of straights around this track, it's going to produce a lot of racing, especially with that slipstream effect.
Yeah, it most certainly will here tonight. We have just a few minutes left in qualifying, 2 minutes and 20 seconds to be exact. We have Thomas Simon on the pole provisionally here, but several drivers still finishing out their qualifying laps and getting those set. You can see the provisional standings on the left-hand side of your screen. Ryan, you obviously drive the Skip Barber car quite a bit, so kind of give us a little bit of, I guess, insight into how the qualifying has to go for this kind of two-lap qualifying structure. It's definitely not the easiest to get the heat into the tires.
Yeah, I would say the first lap's more about just getting heat in the tyres and just building up to the second lap. The first lap is just about getting into a rubberman, just setting a lap time, but the second lap is the one that you want to really try and nail with the tyres are up to temperature, and you just want to try and nail the lap and get as good a time as possible.
Certainly will indeed. We're riding on board now then with Christian Arbaba. As he goes across the line, he'll go to fifth, make that second place. So a pretty good lap from him. He's only 0.2 of a second off of your current pole sitter. Simon Edwards goes into fourth, and Sergeant Gorel goes into third place. Anthony Catt is fifth. And the rest of the drivers all just kind of sorting themselves out, and I think that's pretty much everyone with their qualifying laps done for the most part. I'm not seeing too many more drivers left on a lap, at least drivers up towards the top end of the field. So I think the grid is pretty much set then into this race here today. We have, I believe, 12 laps. Yes, we do. We have 12 laps on hand for us today, so it's going to be exciting and very draft-filled.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with these Skip Barber cars as well, like I mentioned, the slipstream is so strong with these cars. It's even if you're in front, at the front of the pack on one lap, going into the next lap on the home straight, for example, if someone's right behind you, they can use the slipstream to just get back by you, and possibly, I think we could be seeing some free wide battles as well down the home straight, possibly.
And you can see the schedule up on your screen now. We go to Silverstone National Circuit next week to cap off our 12-week schedule. So that'll be a nice, exciting ending to the series then. But the race or qualifying is just now ended, and the grid should be up on your screen momentarily. And it'll be Thomas Simon on the pole alongside Martin Cruz. Christian Arba starts in third with Sergeant Gorel in fourth. Then we move down into fifth. There's Simon Edwards, Miguel Lucia, Anthony Catt is seventh, and then Yoon Patterson will start out of eighth place. Ninth is Christian Perez with Sander Van Del Wee in rounding out your top 10. Then it's Edwin Vario and Bor Zazo rounding out the 12th position. 13th place is Jon Lutter. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. And I want to go ahead and apologize for any name that I completely butcher in this broadcast. But 14th place is Cristobal Orto in 14th. And it's James Pusher in 15th. Alexius Tapi Vico in 16th. And then rounding out your grid of drivers will be Matt Cox and Pablo Lopez. That'll be your 18th car starting grid here from Barcelona. The drivers are just now getting set and ready to go for 12 laps of action. We're at the historic circuit of Barcelona, so we take a little bit different line than the Formula One guys were taking just this weekend in preseason testing. But the lights come on now, and as we wait for them to go, they go green flag, and it's a pretty good start then from Thomas Simon, and he will take the lead, or he'll maintain the lead, heading down thus far into turn number 1. But Martin Cruz under quite a bit of pressure from Christian Arba.
Yeah, everyone's bunched up at the moment as they head down into turn 1. It's everyone's going to have to be careful through turn 1 and turn 2. And especially turn 3, the long right-hander, these guys are going to have to be careful with the cold tyres as well.
Yeah, cold tires, always something that these guys have to keep in mind, especially on this opening lap when you've got just so many things happening at one time. It's easy to get caught up on the cold tires and in somebody else's race as well as your own. So they're all staying pretty much single file, as we actually do have side-by-side for Sasha Gorel and Christian Arba. It will be Gorel who will go up into the 3rd place, Arba down to 4th.
Yep, everyone's managed to make it through without any issues, but looking further back, someone was diving up the inside trying to make a move and just managed to get it done. But at the moment, it's still Thomas Simon in the lead at the moment.
Well, Thomas Simon in the lead. He's got Martin Cruz for company, though, in 2nd. They haven't let each other get away too much. Really, no one has stretched away from anyone here on this lap. Sasha Gorel, you can see up on your screen right now in 3rd place. That was a pretty good start. I think that was 1 position gained for Gorel there. And now they head into the historic section. This is where the track starts to change here from the Grand Prix section that we know so well. So they run their way through a left-hander, then it'll go to the right, and then we don't take the final chicane. We just get a nice long run onto the straightaway, which is perfect for these Skip Barber cars in the draft.
Absolutely, as they come around the final couple of corners, and yeah, I prefer this old layout, Tyler. It's one of my favourites, and it's always been one of my favourites when I used to watch Formula 1 back in going back a few years ago when they used the old layout, and I always found it was a lot more exciting instead of the new chicane as they come across the line to complete the first lap.
And Martin Cruz is now under pressure here for Sasha Gorel. Gorel down the inside, trying to make a move. And the draft is actually so much that she may be able to actually even make a move here on Tessa Simon. And so it'll be side by side through turn number 1, now through turn 2. It'll turn to the inside, but there'll be nothing for it. And there's somebody off in the background. That's going to be Christian Barber. So very unfortunate there for Christian Barber.
Yeah, unfortunate incident for him. It was a look at the replay to see what happened, and Barber unfortunately just had a bit of contact with another car, and as they come through turn 1 and turn 2, it looks like he's going to be it's going to be close. Yeah, he just got tagged.
And up and over, Christian Barber will go. That was a very large incident into the tire barriers, and that will be race over for sure. So we jump back into the race. Leaders. Right now, that opened up a little bit of gap. Simon Edwards actually was able to capitalize very nicely and move up into 3rd position. But the top 2 now of Thomas Simon and Sasha Gorel, those guys have really just checked out from the rest of the field. They've currently got 8 tenths over that next big train of cars.
Yeah, just watching Simon Sasa at the moment, and he's looking very, even though it's only lap 2, he's looking racy at the moment. So maybe wants to try and make a move early and try and take the lead, but I don't think these guys will get away from the rest of the pack just because of how strong the slipstream is.
No, I mean, we know how fast Simon Edwards is, too. The guy's got 7,000 iRating for a reason. He's definitely not slow by any stretch. So even with being 8 tenths of a second back, like you said, the draft will keep them all in it. And I think by the time they get down to turn 1, if Edwards can get a good run here off the final corner, it's pretty much going to be, he'll be right back on those lead, too, as we ride on board here with your current race leader, Thomas Simon.
I'm just looking behind Sasa as well, and yeah, Simon's not closing up as much as I thought he would. As Sasa's going for the run as I head down to turn 1, can he get the move done and take the lead? He's going for it, and yeah, up into the lead is Sasha Gorel.
Sasha Gorel up into the race lead. It's a new race leader here. So far, it's been Tata Simon the entire race. but now we have a brand new race leader, but I don't think that's really going to last for all that long, at least until we get onto another major straightaway, because the draft is just going to pull them all right back into it. But they've got to be careful with doing all this battling, because Simon Edwards is just there in the back of your picture. You can just see him now, and he is coming very, very strong on the back of these two.
Yeah, Simon Edwards, he doesn't seem to do qualifying. Doesn't seem to be really his strong point. He seems to come good in the race, and he seems to just do his own thing and not battle too early in the race. But he's sitting in third place at the moment, Simon, and I'm not sure what he's trying to do. If he's going to try and make a move early, or if he's more than happy just to sit behind these two at the moment.
From the looks of things, he doesn't even look like he really wants to make a move. Looks to me like he's perfectly content with sitting down in third place, but I'm sure if the opportunity arises for him, I think he will send one down the inside. But Tata Simon, then, nonetheless, though, he is very much on the back of Sasha Gorel, and he looks to be making a move. He's dancing left and right, trying to find an opening, but thus far hasn't been able to get up alongside. So Sasha doing a nice job thus far to defend from Tamas.
Sasa a bit wide though. He missed the apex slightly, and as they come round the final couple of corners, it looks like Sasa will be under attack from not only Simon but Simon Edwards as well. And not far behind these guys is Anthony Cat, Christian Perez, and Edwin Valerino.
Yeah, nonetheless, they really are right there as well. These guys all have to be careful with when they do their battling. They got to pick their spots very wisely if they don't want to make this 3-car train into a 6-car train. But to be honest with you, I think that may just happen anyway. Simon Edwards slightly looking for a move there. He thought about it, but he wasn't able to get up alongside. Backs out of it and lets them have it. So, but we do have a new race leader. Teta Simon back to the race lead. Took it in the same spot that it was taken away from him a lap ago. And he will lead the field out once again. And it's Sasha Gorel, Simon Edwards, Anthony Cat, and Christian Perez. That is your top 5 right now. As you can see, the top 8 there is Edwin Valerino, Martin Cruz, and Borzazo. That is your top 8.
And then just looking throughout the field as well to see who's gained the most positions, and the people that's gained the most positions at the moment at the start is Matt Cox gained 5 positions up in P12 at the moment. So Matt Cox having a steady run at the moment.
A very steady run at the moment then for Matt Cox. He's, like you said, down in 12th place, and there's someone off. That's Martin Cruz. He's gone for a big slide then. Has Martin Cruz. He's kept the car under control. Replay up on your screen now, and I wonder if he got a bit of help then from the car behind.
Yeah, he just got tagged from behind under braking, and unfortunately Martin got tagged around, but he still managed to keep going. But I don't know if he'll maybe have some slight rear suspension damage.
There's always the possibility, isn't there? I mean, whenever you get a hit like that, it's almost certain that you'll have some sort of damage. If you get away with not having any, you're very, very lucky indeed. As, like I said before, these guys have to be careful because the front train may turn into 6, and it has anyway here. The front group that was 3 is now 6. Long in Barcelona. We're just before halfway point. We're not even to the halfway point yet, and these guys are already battling. Still, again, side by side for the race lead. Down into turn number 1. It's going to be Gorel back to the race lead. Tata Simon has to slot into second. This seems to be the most popular passing opportunity thus far, Ryan, for these drivers. It seems to be a very easy spot for them to get by.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it seems to be the home straight seems to be the most popular place at the moment, that everyone's setting up a run on someone to try and make a move. And as we've seen so far in the race, this battle for the lead, this lead battle has been switching around most of the time on the home straight. So this slipstream seems to be helping these guys. And as you say, Tyler, we've got a 6-car pack at the moment.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm interested in, though, with where they're actually able to get by in the draft, they're not going by early in the straightaway. It's taking them nearly the entire straight to get up alongside. So I think that we're going to be able to rule that out for a last lap passing opportunity is heading onto that front straightaway, because there's just not a long enough run to the finish line then onto the straightaway. These guys are going to have to get it done through this tricky middle sector, which is so difficult to get a move done on. As we ride on board here with Simon Edwards, you can see he's looking for a move, but he's just backing out of it a little bit and not going for it yet. He's very patient back in the third position to Simon Edwards.
Yeah, he seems to be, every time he gets close to these guys, he doesn't seem desperate or trying to make a move at the first chance he gets. He seems to be he's sneaking up on these guys, but he's not going for the move. So more than happy to just play the waiting game at the moment, but in the closing stages of this race, he can't really afford to do that, because he will have people behind him that's more than happy to try and go for a move and make some position. So Simon Edwards, he can't play the courses game too much.
Yeah, certainly not the best game to be playing, but hey, if it gets you a possible race win, then I think I would go for it as well. He seems to be pretty comfortable in running it as the race lead switches once again, not surprisingly here down and towards turn number 1. So Tenta Simon back to the race lead, Sasha Gorel into second. I feel like I'm just saying that every other lap we're getting a lead change back. Tenta's back to the lead, then it's Sasha back to the lead, but nonetheless, these guys are swapping positions, and Simon Edwards just chilling out in third place, playing the long game here as we ride through the laps. We're currently on lap 6 out of 12.
And yeah, I'm just looking further back in the pack as well to see if there's any other battles going on at the moment. I think we've got a battle for some of the minor positions in the top 10, or the lower positions in the top 10. We've currently looking at the moment at Borja Zazo in 8th position, and currently just behind P7 man Johan. So these guys are battling for the lower positions in the top 10, but at the moment there's two packs going on in the top 10, one up at the front and one at the bottom of the top 10.
And this pack seems to be even more exciting than the front pack. These guys are really going after it here. You can see Bora Zazo having to defend there just a little bit from Cristobal Ortero just behind him. And then it's Sander van de Wiel just at the end of that pack, down in 10th place. Matt Cox isn't too far behind these guys either. He's down in 11th, just about 1 second behind them. So this train is effectively about 5 or 6 cars deep. It's a pretty large train, and it may get even bigger here if Cox can catch up.
Yeah, I was just watching Cox as well, and he's been slowly closing the gap on these guys in front of him, and these guys scrapping amongst themselves could help Matt, and there he is, Matt Cox in the background, so he's slowly but surely closing that gap down.
And that's one of the most tricky things about this Skip Barber car, is learning when to pass and just when to wait, because the momentum is so crucial in these cars. You really can't afford to be making a super aggressive move, or it's going to cost you a lot of momentum. As we saw, Sasha Gorel back to the lead, but we still have a battle lower down here. You can see, just watch there, side by side down into turn number 1, but wasn't able to get anything done. So everything stayed the same as we continue to watch this lead group here, and Tenta Simon seeming to just play the long game. He's even willing to wait till the main straight, not making any super aggressive moves from this whole front train. I mean, really, none of them are even moving so far.
Yeah, they're all in, excuse me, they all seem to be line astern at the moment. And also another thing these guys have to be careful of, if they stay in the draft too long, is you can blow the engine up with these cars if the engine temperature gets too high.
And I think that's almost why we're seeing these guys just kind of separate from each other in the infield, where the air is more plentiful, I would say, when they're, just kind of can take a little bit different line, and then if they've got a little bit more room, they can get that engine cooled back off and really won't have to worry about that for where it really matters down the straightaway. You can see now, side by side, well, almost side by side, Simon looking to get there, but he couldn't quite do it. Just, I think, letting them know that, or Sasha Gorel, just letting her know that he is right there in the background and can make a move at any time.
Yeah, as these guys come around the final couple of corners again, and they're still all close together, and I think you're going to see the same thing like we've seen for a few laps. Tyler, these guys are going to switch around, and there could be a lead change as they come across the line.
Now, I wonder if it gets down to time if either one of these drivers decide here, let me just sit in line and play this to my advantage towards the end of the race so that I can lead going down to the final lap. That I can be the one that makes the pass. You can see here, we haven't seen Simon Edwards get aggressive yet, but he's doing it now. He's down the inside as well as Sasha Gorel, so it may be 2 spots lost in turn number 1 here for Gorel. It doesn't end up turning out that way. Simon Edwards gets squeezed down. He'll have to slot back into 3rd place. We have side-by-side for 4th, Anthony Cat and Christian Perez.
I was just about to say as well, Anthony Cat is coming to the mix as well. Oh, someone's up the inside of Anthony Cat. That's Christian Perez going for a move up the inside, but he decides to back out of it.
But Perez has to back out there. Cat seemed to just kind of slam the door as we had a beautiful onboard shot there from Anthony Cat. You can just see how low to the ground these Skip Barber cars are, and that's very close then with Christian Perez to the back of Anthony Cat. He almost made contact, but was able to get the car stopped, and no contact was made. So they're all pretty much staying in line. They haven't really changed as well as far as positions have gone. They've gone side by side, but no one seemed to be able to make up a spot.
Yeah, it seems to be these guys are all, they're all starting to go at it now because they're coming into the closing stages now. We've got about just under 4.5 laps to go. So, yep, it's as I always say, it's game time for these guys, and it's time for them to start making moves.
Certainly is, as we will tick over to lap number 9 here at the start-finish line. So, like you said, not a whole lot of time left for these guys. They've really got to start making those strategic moves so that they know that they can get themselves to the race lead when it matters on the final lap. So, I'm going to be interested to see if either Tata Simon or Sasha Gorel, if they decide to possibly stay in line when it's their turn to normally get the draft and fly by, if they would just choose to maybe stay in line for a lap, not make the pass, so that they can possibly work the draft to their advantage on the final lap. But it doesn't seem that Sasha Gorel is going to be doing that this time. Goes right back to the race lead in turn number 1.
Sasha back to the lead, and Simon down to 2nd, and Edwards is just he's still in P3, but I think he wants to try and make moves, but he just can't get it done because of every time Gorel and Simon switch around into turn 1, it's just there's nowhere to go, so he's just having to sit behind. But Anthony Cat's still in the background with Perez and Valerino as well, so if these guys at the front get caught up with each other, they could pick up the pieces possibly.
Yeah, certainly could. And we had side-by-side between Cat and Perez momentarily through turn number 1. They still stayed in line, though. So Anthony Cat seems to be pretty good at defending that turn 1, turn 2 spot. So if Perez is going to look to get by on the final lap, that's definitely not going to be the place to do it. He's tried it once or twice now, and both times has not been able to get it done. So definitely needs to find another spot that he needs to try to get by. And I think that that's almost the case for all these guys. You know, they know that turn 1 is the easy passing opportunity, but with the few laps to go, it's actually not a bad idea, in my opinion, to just go ahead and try a move in this infield section. See if you could even make it work on the last lap if you had the run to make it work. Because if you're sitting down in 2nd place, there's really no place for you to pass easily other than turn number 1. So you might as well just try it so that you can kind of see where your opponents are weak and more likely to let you by.
Indeed, as we ride on board with Thomas Simon at the moment, and they're coming up to the final corner, can Simon get the run on the exit of the final corner? It looks like it as they come across the line to complete another lap, and we've got under 3 laps remaining, and it looks like Simon's going for the move again.
Tata Simon goes to the move. Simon Edwards is going to follow him through. He tries to go back out to the outside, can't make it work. You can see also side by side between Perez and Cat, but this is what we really need to watch here. Gorel and Edwards, they're still side by side. Simon Edwards wants to get himself up into 2nd. He knows that's where he needs to be, and he'll get himself up to 2nd.
This is fantastic racing between these guys. They're so close to each other, and it looks like they were going to have they're always about to have contact. But fair play to these guys. They're giving each other respect and plenty of room, racing each other hard but fair. And I think we could be on for a last lap battle for the win.
We certainly could, as you saw Anthony Cat just to the background there slip himself past the 18 of Christian Perez then. But you can, oh, there's something there wrong then. What happened to Tata Simon then? He loses a bit of momentum. Simon Edwards has to pull out. He's not able to get himself alongside though, so Edwards will have to stay down in second place. Tata Simon seemed to do a pretty good job then of defending whatever sort of mistake he made, or maybe even Simon Edwards got a bit sideways. I'm really not too sure what happened there.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what happened to Simon either, but Edwards got a bit sideways, and yeah, Simon's got a bit of a gap now. But all of a sudden, it's Simon Edwards under attack from this pack behind.
So Simon Edwards now, he's got about a half-second gap to your race leader, Tata Simon, which may actually play into his advantage here. If he can just get to the rear wing of Tata Simon, then Simon Edwards may be in prime position just to sail by on the final lap and get that last lap pass down into turn number 1. But we'll have to wait and see what he decides to do here. I think Simon Edwards is going to choose to stay behind, but you can see there Tata Simon immediately goes full defensive and then back out to the racing line. He's really trying to break the toe here from Simon Edwards.
Yeah, he needs to be careful though. If Edwards gets close to him, he can't make another move. So it looks like Simon will still be ahead into turn 1, which is the first time in this race, I believe, Tyler, that they've not had a lead change.
I think you are correct, and you can see Sacha Gorel sends it around the outside of Simon Edwards, wasn't able to make it work. We were 3 wide momentarily with Anthony Catt also in the mix there, but they aren't able to do anything. Catt still side by side with Sacha Gorel. I think, though, that Catt's going to have to back out of that one. Your leader is still Tata Simon out in the race lead. Simon Edwards still stays in 5th after he got kind of almost swamped in turn number 1. That really didn't help his forward momentum in trying to catch your race leader.
As yeah, these guys are still close together, and yeah, I'm amazed, Tyler, that these guys have not had any contact at the moment. They've been really, as I said before, they've been really close and close at times to having contact, but yeah, somehow they're still managing to get away with it.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, these guys have been millimeters apart from each other for most of this race. I mean, really, that's just what the Skip Barber car is almost all about, is very close quarters racing, because it's a very underpowered car, you could say, and it just has pretty much all down to momentum. As Sacha Gorel, what a send then into the historic section. Simon Edwards goes for the crossover, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think Sacha Gorel is going to easily have it as they head down into the penultimate corner now. So very, very hard slide or send there for Sacha Gorel. Slid out a bit wide. Simon Edwards tried the undercut, couldn't get it to work, and now it's Sacha Gorel into 2nd. But I think that almost hurt them, though, into the pursuit to catch Tata Simon, who currently is out in the race lead by 0.7 of a second. I mean, you just can't close that up in one pit straight.
Yeah, but these guys behind Simon scrapping away, this is allowing Simon to just kind of build a gap a little bit. And as Simon Edwards is trying to go up the inside of Sacha Gorel, he tries to go up the inside, but Sacha's not giving up. Oh, come on. Oof. As it's getting a bit close behind as well of Anthony Catt and Edwin Ballerino as well. This is all kicking off as we start the final lap.
Most certainly is. These guys, I don't even think are really worried about the race lead from what it looks like here. It was Christian Perez who did get by Anthony Catt then. Catt goes back down the inside here as they head through the middle sector now. Catt will, I think, get that move done. No, he won't. He'll still be side by side with Christian Perez. And Simon Edwards just ahead of him. They're still side by side. Sorry, Christian Perez, who's trying to make his way up into 4th place. Anthony Catt trying to go around the outside. It's going to be difficult to, but if he can hang it, he can make it work. I think in the next corner, he can't even hang it out wide, though. So Christian Perez now up into 4th place. Simon Edwards is 3rd. Sacha Gorel is 2nd. They've got a 0.7 of a second gap to your race leader, Thomas Simon, who is currently out in the race lead. They have just a few corners left in the race. I think Thomas Simon has pretty much got this race wrapped up if he can keep it under control here for the final few corners.
As Christian Perez was getting a bit sideways there in the long left-hander as they come up to the final few corners, Tyler, and it looks like Simon is going to hold on for the win.
Tata Simon, then he has 2 more corners to go into the final corner, and it will be Tata, I think it's going to be Tata Simon taking the race win here from Barcelona. He slides the car in excitement, and he will win. Sasha Gorel comes across the line in second. Simon Edwards third. Anthony Katz and Edwin Valerino. That will round out your top 5.
As the rest of the pack come across the line to complete the race, and yeah, that was a fantastic battle for the win, and one that I enjoyed watching, and yeah, it was a pleasure commentating on it with you as well, Tyler.
What a battle we saw there. I mean, I've never commentated on the Skip Barber series before, but I can say this was definitely an exciting one to commentate on. Indeed, it was action-packed all the way through, as we just wait on everyone to cycle through, and then we will get up your official race results up on the screen. Tata Simon will take the win over Sasha Gorel. Simon Edwards in third. Anthony Cat fourth, and Edwin Valerino. That will round out your top 5. Christian Perez in 6th. Johan Largarende in 7th, and it's Cristobal Ortio in 8th. Sander Van de Wiel in 9th. Martin Cruz will round out your top 10. Then we move down 1 spot. It'll be Jürgen Patterson, Matt Cox, Boris Zazo, James Huiser, Alexius Tapovico in 15th. That will round out your top 15. Pablo Lopez in 16th. Miguel Luchera in 18th. And then Christian Braba, sorry. We'll round out your field of drivers today. That was 10 laps down, but pretty much everyone finished that race. We only had 1 driver that was classified as a DNF. Everyone else finished, and finished on the lead lap as well. So very impressive here for the 12 laps that we had tonight at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia.
Yep, absolutely. That was a fantastic race, like I mentioned. And yeah, what was your take on it, Tyler? Your impressions?
Yeah, it was definitely an amazing race, Ryan. I mean, we had battling all the way through. It never really let up in the end then, and it was Tata Simon, after a very hard-fought race, who came out home with that one. He definitely had to work for that one, though. It certainly wasn't gifted to him by any stretch. And again, you can see the schedule up on your screen. Silverstone National is where we will end up next week. So join us back here on Race Spot TV for Friday Night Primetime at the same time, 2015 GMT, 3:15 p.m. EST. I have been Tyler Max, and Ryan Walker has been alongside me. Hugo Luis has been behind the scenes in production. We thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next time.